Well, happy 2021. This is the first video of the year. My first video is going to go to a helmet that I purchased last year that I've been using for, well, the last half of 2020. And this is going to be basically my primary helmet for all of this year. So let's get into it. Hey folks, welcome back to BikeGeeks. And today I'm back. My first review of the year is on a helmet that I've actually been using for a little while now. So I used it for the last half of last year, and it's kind of been my go-to helmet since. I've tried several helmets. One other Nolan helmet that I did a video on as well, I liked, but it was just too bulky. This is the Nolan N70-2 GT. There was a few reasons why I wanted to go with this helmet when I was eyeing it. I had nowhere locally that I could try it on, so originally I bought it in extra large because the other Nolan that I had, extra large, actually fit pretty good. I got the extra large. It was just too wobbly, so I returned it and got the large instead. And that's what this is. Now they have several colors available. This is obviously the high-vis yellow. I'm definitely more about higher, brighter colors myself, but I definitely want to be seen. And so that's why I decided to go with the high-vis helmet. And I'm glad I did. I really love this helmet in a lot more ways than one. There are some drawbacks to it, to be honest about it. A few things that I'm not as keen on as others. But all in all, this so far, from all the helmets that I've used personally, is definitely by far my favorite helmet that I currently own. Who knows what's to come? But there's a lot of really cool things to dig in on. So I'm going to bring the video in and we'll talk about the things that I like and talk about some of the upgrades that I did that actually worked really good on this helmet. So let's bring it in. So, like I said, this is the Nolan N70-2 GT. I will put links down at the top of the description so you can take a peek at it at Revzilla or wherever you like to look at things. But this is a modular helmet. And it's got some really neat features specifically to its modulation and how it actually works, because it actually has a very large face shield here. As you can kind of see, the plastic shield actually goes down below all the way to the bottom of the chin bar, because the chin bar is actually fully removable. So you can see there's a couple silver guys right here where my thumbs are. If you pinch both of those, the chin bar just basically pops out. So to put it back in, you can put it back in while you're wearing it as well. It's not as easy if you can't see it, but it kind of just pops back into place, and then it becomes your standard chin bar. I really love that this is fully removable because, to be honest, over 90% of the time I ride without the chin bar on. However, highway riding, I do like having the chin bar on because it does help with noise. That's going to be one of the first drawbacks I'm going to talk about this helmet. It is not the quietest of helmets. It is not what I would deem as a quiet helmet. That's the biggest drawback to this helmet, is the noise factor. But usually whenever you're talking about a modular helmet, they're never as quiet, and everybody understands that. Specifically if you're going to keep it in this kind of 3/4 mode with a full face shield, it's going to be a little louder. If you're going to be riding a louder bike, recommended to have hearing protection in addition to the helmet. I'm still trying out various hearing protection to find my favorite one that I've yet to do. That'll be a video later on. But that would be one of the first drawbacks to this helmet, is it is not quiet. That said, for air movement, we actually have 3 vents here on the top. Basically they kind of suck in on the front and then come out in the back here, as you kind of see. So it kind of flows through the helmet itself and actually draws air through, keeping you cool. I have not had any overheating issues with this helmet at all, so I think the ventilation, actually, they did a really, really good job on. The whole venting item that they did is fantastic. Same thing with if you actually are using the face shield, there is a 2 set vent and closed vent here in the front, which basically just helps bring air and shoot it up on the visor. Helps reduce any fog. Now that said, it does have a pin lock visor that comes with it. You can choose to install or not to install. I decided to install it. I am now a huge proponent for the pin lock system. There is no fogging when it comes to the pin lock area. So this whole area where this inner shield is, I don't get fog here. It seals really good against the actual shield itself, and I have yet to get any fog in this area. I actually recently, when it was, I would say 40s and raining, when I purchased my daughter's moped, where I met the couple that we bought it off of, I had to drive 5 miles back home, and I wore this helmet, and everywhere else on this shield there was fog, plenty of fog, but where the pin lock was, no fog. So awesome, you know, pin locks are fantastic, and in this case it's more of the same. Also, the nice thing about it is you can turn this into a true 3/4 helmet as well, because this face shield is fully and easily removable. Basically, you bring the shield up, and just on the side here, on each side, there's a black arm. I don't know if you can kind of see that. You lift up. So you lift up on that one on both sides. Doing my pinkies. And then you pull out. I guess I didn't show that very well. So if I lift up on this arm, there's the same method of putting it back on. Let me put it up and close so I can lift up on here, and then you pull this out. So it literally comes off. Do that to both sides, and then the visor is removable. I'm going to set that off to the side. So now we have a 3/4 helmet. So it's that modularity that they have on this helmet is a fantastic one, because even the big full face shield, similar to a full face helmet without the chin bar. As you can see, I have my Cardo PackTalk Bold system on here. Now this is built for the NCOM system, Nolan's own system. This helmet is designed for wiring to smoothly integrate with this. However, I will say that the PackTalk Bold, or probably any of the Cardo systems, not too bad. It integrates better with this helmet than I had it integrated with any of my previous helmets. My Spider one was my last one I really integrated it with. This one integrates a lot better because the wiring that when Cardo makes this, there we go. As you can see, I don't have any wiring exposed. The wiring actually goes through the helmet itself, and then I use the actual adhesive mount for the PackTalk Bold here to stick it to the actual helmet itself. And yeah, that's probably one of the coolest things about it. I wonder if I could show. I will leave it like that, but you can kind of see a little bit. The wire kind of goes through. There's actually a method here, and let me grab my donut. So down here in the ring is where you can actually run the wires. You can see this hard plastic ring. That's actually where the wires go. I figure I'm going to take that off real quick. It's just a quick Allen key on the back side to be able to access it. So I brought my Allen key, and we'll pull it open, and let me do this real quick. Sorry, I wanted to get a better view for the camera. So take the little screw out with the Allen key, and then this basically lifts this whole section, can just pop up. And this is actually where I have the wires ran currently. Let's see if I can easily get this out here. If I remember, it's been a while since I've messed around with it. Obviously, you probably want to remove the padding first, but back in here, yeah, let me see here. Pop the padding out quick. The padding just pops right out with these little fasteners, but in here, you can kind of see where I have the wires ran. Back here, this is kind of the area for their, I think their module, I guess as it is. That I basically kind of just jammed a bunch of the connectors and stuff up into. And you just use the space as it's given to you, and it integrates very well. Even though this isn't built for this specific helmet, it integrates very, very well with this helmet. So as you can see, that everything kind of pops apart, and I don't want to take a whole helmet apart, but this whole lining can come out. So if you need to wash it, if it starts getting funky, yeah, it's really well built and well thought out plan for being able to wire up the helmet. So with everything kind of buttoned back up real quick, it took me just a couple minutes. There's little clips basically just go in here, and then there's two snap connectors up here that connect everything together. And then with the Cardo, even with the actual microphone, it works really good. But here's what the interior kind of looks like. The top here is well vented, as you can kind of see that. And then I really like the clasp system that Nolan does with just the quick release. I know there's several helmet companies that now do this or that have done this, and obviously Nolan has been doing it too. These are, you know, once you go to this type of system, I will never go back to the old system. That's my personal thing. So yeah, that's that. Also, there is a sun visor, and if you can see, kind of see here on the side, it slides. If you pull down on that slide, the sun visor, boom, comes down, and it integrates really, really well. The release button right here, if you actually push on that, the visor pops back up. Now, here's where having the third-party infotainment system or connection system does get a little funky, because typically if I didn't have my Carno system on here, when you push this, brings it down. When I push this button without touching the helmet, it would slide all the way back up. It doesn't quite. You can kind of see that. And that's because I think the pinching point down here where the mechanism is to pull this down, the wires I think are just pinching a little bit, and it's keeping it from sliding back under the helmet. Now, that's just basically the spring mechanism to control it from the controls down here. I don't find it to be a big deal. I just basically stick my finger and pop it up all the way while holding the release button down here. But that's something to say. If I didn't modify this helmet when I first got this helmet, this system works fantastically. It's flawless. But as soon as I put this system on, it actually, at first, it would almost not go back up. So then I took this back apart, routed the wires a little better, and now I got it to the point where it almost goes back up by itself. You know, I just have to barely touch it, essentially, to get it to go back up. Maybe it's something I could play with a little bit more, but that is something to point out. That's not Nolan's fault. That's me with how I have the wires ran, at least. So, yeah, that's that. So, more than anything else, how does it fit on your head? This is the large version. Now, they actually have two shell sizes, and then they have various padding thicknesses to fit the sizes. So, I think it's the extra small through medium is the smaller shell size. The large through the double XL, I think is that large they go, is the larger shell size. So this is the large, so this is actually the larger shell size, but because of the thicker padding, it's a size large. And she fits very, very well. You know, this is now just the without the visor on. I'll put the visor on here in a second. I'll show you what it looks like with the visor on. But I have access to all the controls if I actually had my Carno system on here, which, where are you at? There you are. So that's what it looks like with the Pack Talk Bold on here. I understand this isn't a review for that, but with the visor, you can see what the actual sun visor does. I will say that the other Nolan, the N71, I think there's the other one I did. I liked the visor on that one better. It was larger, covered more area. This one does have a little bit of area down here that I could see down without being visor. But when I first got it, I thought, oh man, it's a little smaller. It's about the right size, to be honest about it. I do like the larger one better, but I don't have any issues with the sun glare or anything like that. And like I said, when I go to hit the button here, oh, where am I at? I just have to push it up with my thumb. And you can see with my head on it, it's a little bit tighter yet. And so it doesn't even have as much spring reaction as it did down there. And that's, again, not Nolan's fault. That's my fault for the wiring. But I'm okay with living with it because I'd rather have this system all integrated with no wires exposed at all. So that's one of the big things about it. Now, let me get the full visor on real quick. Okay. Make sure my earlobes are right. So you can see right now I have the visor up and down. And I will say this, my visor's dirty. Like I said, I ran through with the rain last time I wore this, bringing my daughter's new moped back, or used moped. So I still have rain spots here, so don't go by the dirt. But it fits really, really well, but it does cover. Now, I will say that I don't typically ride with it all the way down, like this. I actually usually have it cracked right here. So there's a little bit of air here, and I get a little bit of more air movement through it with the vent open. It just helps more airflow. I prefer to actually ride without anything. I like the feeling of air on my face, but of course the faster you drive, you definitely want to have something, a shield at least, to keep your eyes covered and feel a little safer. Same thing with the chin bar. I can actually usually do a pretty good job of getting it on while the helmet's on. So you can see what the chin bar looks like. And with the chin bar on, I'm even more muffled, right? And you kind of got to get used to, I don't ride with the chin bar on very often, where to grab the shield from. There's just a little tab right here that's right down here. It's not, you don't just grab it like I typically do without the chin bar. So that's the Nolan N70. Now, some more things to say about this helmet is obviously all the modular pieces, the face shield, the interior, even the chin bar. I mean, the parts of this helmet you can actually get replacements for from Nolan, including, the full interior. So, like I said, it's built for their NCOM system. There's several different communication systems that this helmet is built for. But, as you can see, you can not really modify even, but you can use those internal channels for their communication system for probably almost any communication system if you have, the thought process to do it. And it's literally, there's just a little button here. I wish I could actually take this off, but it's already adhered. I think it's 1 or 2 Allen little screws. You take it out, and then that basically it provides that channel to get into the helmet that keeps everything from being exposed. So, all in all, this modular type helmet, because it goes from a full face to a true 3/4 helmet with a few in-betweens. Now they do provide, like most helmet companies, a nice storage bag that I rarely ever use, but it does come with it. The pin lock system is fantastic, and the visor, the front visor, you can actually get a second type of front visor. So this is the full face kind of front visor. They do have another one that actually only comes down so far. That's more like a 3/4 helmet face shield that you can get, or not visor, but face shield. So there are a couple things that you can actually change that out to, and they have different colors of face shields as well. So yeah, so there's that. You can head over to Nolan's website, take a peek at the helmet, look at the accessories for it. I'll put a link down in the description to that as well. But colors. So like I said, this is the high-vis yellow. They also offered in black, matte black, graphite, and white, I believe is the 4 other colors. And then they actually have a couple other versions of this helmet, kind of more off-road-esque, that are a little bit different. So $329 for the 4 primary colors. The high-vis is $359, so you actually pay a little bit more for the high-vis color. But like I said, the only difference between it is the color, and I wanted something that stuck out and like a sore thumb. My bike is also kind of a lime green color, so yeah, we'll go with that. If you have any questions for me at all, please comment below, subscribe to the channel. You can also head over to thebikegeeks.com. You can get a hold of me there. But that said, guys, this is kind of my helmet for the foreseeable future. Who knows? I may get an itch to try something else out. Maybe a full face that's super quiet for highway riding. Because this helmet fixes the positions for about any type of riding you want to do. However, I wish it was quieter. And that's, I think, the story of probably most helmets on the market. Oh, I wish this helmet that I like and I love and I like everything about it, but X. There's always going to be a downfall about every helmet made. This helmet, in my opinion, is noise. It's not a super quiet helmet. It's not that it's super loud, it's just not super quiet. So if there's one thing I think that Nolan could work on, is doing something with the padding down here to make it even quieter. And I don't know if maybe it's the padding, not the padding down here, but it's actually the padding behind where you're at. So that's my thoughts on the helmet. Again, if you have any other thoughts, let me know. But all in all, I give this thing an 8.5 out of 10. I love the helmet. And just because it's a little loud, I can mitigate that in other ways. So, thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking to the end. And we'll catch you back here on Bike Geeks for another future video review, because I'm going to have more lined up here this year as well. So, stay tuned. Thanks for watching.